All right, welcome everyone, welcome back. So this week I'm not really teaching you anything new, but I will be giving you some pointers on things that tripped me up this week. But there's not much new that I can teach you things I haven't already taught you. But there are just one or two things. So we're going to talk about those. So first off, the first assignment or the first challenge and the thing that you're going to be doing this week is a 5 times table. Basically, all that is doing is printing what it says, a 5 times table. You want to print 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times 3, 5 times 4. You're going to be printing that and all of the answers to that. So if I'm going to come over here and I click this button, this is what shows up. So this is what you want to get with your first one. Now for this, it's not too hard. Just create yourself a counter variable. It doesn't matter what you call it. I think I called mine counter, but call whatever you want, but make it a counter variable. What that's going to do, it's just going to go through the loop and count how many times you've been through the loop. That's useful because I created a while loop, and I think I did call it count, that variable. I called it counter, and counter is equal to 1. And then I went into the loop and it said while counter is less than 13, because we're going all the way to 12. So while counter is less than 13, keep doing this loop. And then I took the counter number, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each time it loops through, it's going to increment that counter. And I'm going to take that counter, I'm going to multiply it times 5, and then there's my number. I'm going to jump into my code. I'm going to show you what it looks like. And I'm going to zoom in here to this part. And I want to point this out because this is kind of interesting, and it took me a long time to figure out how to do it. When I first did this program, my numbers or my results would print left to right on the screen instead of straight down as you saw them. So to avoid that, to get out of it going left to right, I wanted to write a new line statement, like a break statement or something like that. And every time I tried to do like a break statement, like a new line statement inside JavaScript, it wouldn't recognize that inside HTML, so it just didn't work. Excuse me. And so I eventually learned that if you put in a string like this inside these quotation brackets, you can do a double quotation or a single quotation. I don't think that part matters. But if you put them in there like that, inside your final string that you're printing out, like I am down here, your answer, it will put them on their own line each, which is really cool, and I'm mad that it took me as long as it did to figure that out. It took me so many hours. I was just sitting here Googling and searching and trying to find answers to stuff, and I'm ashamed that it took me that long to realize that it was that simple. You just had to put it into the string that you're putting out. That's it. So that's pretty much it. You're not taking anything in. You're not taking in any variables or anything. You're just printing out these numbers. So out of everything that I've taught you so far, have at it, have fun, start brainstorming the way that you might do this to get all this stuff out there. Brainstorming and thinking it up for yourself, other than the one I just showed you, is one of the best ways to get to being independent on your own code. So let's go on to the next one. This is called 2 powers, or at least that's what I called it. Powers of 2. Now, just a little quick refresher if you don't remember what a power is. Power is just an exponent. It's that number that's right up here. So if you had a 2 here and a tiny little number above it, like a 3 or something, that's an exponent. We call that a power. And so the goal of this challenge is to show the powers of 2 from 0 to 31. Now, that's a lot of numbers. And you could just type it out yourself. I mean, the temptation probably here is to just type all this stuff out into a string or something and then just have it printed out for you. That's not the goal here. You want to learn how to use the power symbol in JavaScript, because there is a symbol, there's an operator symbol that you can use that will do this for you. It simply will just do it for you, and it's pretty amazing. So I'm going to teach you guys that one today. So these are the powers. So if it's 2 to the 1, all this is doing, as a little quick refresher in case you need this refresher, a power just basically tells you how many times a number is multiplied by itself. So this one has a 1 up there, which just means it's 1, 2, and so it's a single 2, and so there's the 2. If it's a 5, it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 5 times. So that's what a power does, and you can see that these numbers get big really quickly when you start doing 2 21 times, or 2 27 times, all the way up to 31. And so this gets really challenging really quickly. So the symbol to do a power is very similar to the one to do multiplication. I'll show it to you guys here. It's this one right over here. It is 2 times times. So you put a star star or an asterisk asterisk. When you do multiplication, you only do one of those. It's 2 times counter like I did in the other one, or 5 times counter in the other one. But this one is 2 times times counter. If you do 2 asterisk symbols together, that is equal to a power of something. So it's the number 2 times counter. Now, if you didn't, I made a variable called 2 up here top. I just said let 2 equal the number 2. But if you don't do that, that's fine. You can just type the number 2 in there. It'll be totally fine. I don't know why I did that. I just wanted to be cool, I guess. Make as many variables as I could. So 2 times counter, that will do that for you. Here's the next thing I want you guys to know about this. To get it to appear like it did over here, as like superscript, it's what's called superscript, if you want to do like a power symbol up above. I struggle with that one as well, trying to understand how that one works. The way you do that is you do sup, and that stands for superscript. Okay, so sup. And then you put that sup like that, and then this closing tag sup on each side. So that closing sup is really, really important, because if you just did a sup and then didn't put this second one here and you just kept on, what you would end up doing is you'd end up getting a bunch of letters getting smaller and smaller and smaller. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you what that looks like if you just get rid of it and then you just have this. We're going to hit save real quick, and then I'm going to jump back over here. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like if you do that. So notice as you look over here, everything's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. That is because it's almost to the point where you can't even read that anymore. That's too small. It's because you have this 2, 0, okay? And then it's jumping over, and I think I even entered this wrong, but it's 2, 0, 1, and then it gets smaller as a superscript, and then it jumps down here, and this is still superscript size. This 2 right here is the same superscript size as like up here. So that's the funny part, is it's just not working properly. Let's put this back in there, hit save again, come back, we'll refresh the page, and everything's back to normal. But that's the point, it also did that because I got rid of the equals, so everything was up top. So everything was inside, this superscript, and then it came down to the new line, it was still in the superscript, and then you went superscript again, and that made it to be smaller and smaller and smaller. So that's why this closing superscript tag is so important. Don't forget it, because that is what differentiates between when a superscript starts and when it ends, or when the power starts and when the power ends. That's it though, guys. You don't need to know too much more. Just really want to show you guys this star star, which is just it's just a way to say a power or an exponent. There is another way to do that. I might as well mention that. I have seen people use something like, I can't remember exactly how it is, but it's like math.power, and then in parentheses there's like you put 2 numbers, and those 2 numbers are the numbers that you do for your base number and your power or your exponent. I don't like that. I've never really been fond of it, because to me it's just been wordy. It's been a little too much typing. And I mean, I know coding is typing, but I mean, it just seems a little too wordy, a little too big. This always, to me at least, looks a little more concise, a little smaller, a little easier to read. So I've always gone with the star star function, but you can choose whichever one you want. They both work equally well, whichever one you're more fond of. But that's the one I chose, and that's why I have this here. You can research the other one if you'd like to. You can find it easily. I'm pretty sure W3 Schools does a tutorial on the star star and the math.power. But either way, whichever one you end up deciding to use, you can use whatever you want. Those are the 2 challenges for this week, and that's it. I don't have anything else to tell you guys. There's no input, there's no output, there's nothing new to really teach you except for the power function that I just taught you. Other than that, do your best, make it look like this. Yeah, that's it. Guys, go have fun. Go have fun doing this fun thing. All right? Thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you guys will join me next week as I dive into more complicated things as we go into next week. All right, thanks, guys. Peace.